Right, caller. What's your name? What's your question, and where you calling from, please?
Peace, peace. My name is Daryl. I'm calling from North Carolina, United States.
Greetings, Rahubat.
Greetings. I just wanted to ask. I caught the debate between, well, I wouldn't say a debate, but exchange between Billy Carson and Wes Huff, and I don't know if you guys have caught it, but
Yeah.
I was introduced to the doctrine by one of my friends a while ago, and when I caught that debate, I was just wondering, how would one of the Sabians or the Wahabians have responded to him, because he was challenging the historicity and the copies of these ancient texts getting grafted over to Christianity as not being valid. And
Right.
so it just made me think, like, dang, I need to get up on my studies, like, what myself, because he kind of caught him off guard. And I was like, wow, these are things that I need to start studying myself in case I find myself in a similar situation. So just curious, how you would have responded to, like, for example, specifically the Sinai Bible, the resurrection being in there, and the other thing, the emerald tablets he said were falsely claimed to be discovered by Dorial in Egypt. Those are my only two questions.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things that we want to be very careful of not doing is jump on the bandwagon of, because when I first started teaching, I did mention certain people, including the person you're speaking about, and if the comments I got were like, why are we trying to fight each other and fight other people down, and I kind of I left it alone. And I think, in terms of commenting on dealing with that, I don't think it's appropriate. In terms of don't want to really feed that force. However, to answer your question, when we give the source of our information, and this was one of the things I was saying, that there are people who teach and they don't give recognition or quote the source of their information, and if they come across like it's from them, and if it's not, there's going to get to a point where they will get that type of a situation where they're not able to go all the way or defend what they're saying, especially if it's you're getting something from someone and you're not able to then defend it. What we do, we always explain our information is from the master teacher Partner Babyanun. And incidentally, when he came on the scene, he was the one that kind of introduced this whole kind of debate things. And he has a series of books called the Debate Series, when he was allowing anyone to come and ask him questions and to, for him to prove what he teaches. And incidentally, I don't recall any Caucasian that actually did that. What mainly happened was, like, the Arabs funded a person, Bilal Phillips, who wrote a book, and it was a technology to set people against each other. And I'm saying that to say that when you really analyze that whole thing, which they're calling a debate, this is why we don't debate anymore, because the master already covered and debated everyone, and he said, you know what, that's a distraction, let's focus on Wu-Sabat, and he started to teach us Wu-Sabat. And I'm saying that at the time, he was the one teaching the Anunnaki information, and he mentioned Zechariah stitching and asked people to go and, research it. But with us, as Sabians or Nuwapians, we already know that these books, these religious books, only go back 6,000 years. And there are several copies of different books, like he mentioned the books of Barnabas. They're original and there are fakes. And it's the same thing with the Sinai Bible. They're original and they're fakes. And of course, Europeans are going to tell you and use certain ones and quote certain ones that they're responsible for anyway. So then they'll say the authority, they'll have the authority to say this is fake and this is not fake and this is real and this is not real. But when you go outside of 6,000 years and go outside of their scholars and what they say, because they act like they are the authority on all the information. So when you fall into that trick, that trap, then it's almost like, it's like one of the biggest tricks. Like, for example, people say my Bible, and there is no such thing as my Bible, because when you say my Bible, then you will say something and they will say, but that's not in my Bible. And if it's all one word of God, why would different people have different Bibles? So the Jehovah's Witness will have their own Bible. You'll have, other groups will have their own Bible. So it's easy then, because if you're just going by what you accept and what you decide is real and what's not real, then of course you're going to be able to defend it based on the fact of yours. So we go pre all of them. We predate the Bible. This is why we've moved away from religion, because we don't really honestly care about a 6,000 year or a 4,000 year or 2,000 year old, do you know what I mean, religion, and we predate them by millions and millions of years. Because once you go into those questions like, okay, how old is it? Who wrote it? When was it written? And where's the evidence to substantiate and prove it? When you take it outside of the realm of what, of Christendom or, the Islamic world, then, they can't really contend with that. So they have to keep it within what they accept to be true. But the answer is there are different manuscripts, different versions, and unfortunately, the ones that he picked were one of those. But yeah, we don't even really need to debate anybody, because the minute we go, we don't profess to be Christians, Muslims, or Jews, because we've moved to our culture, which is far, way before, and there's evidence to prove that. So that's what we would do. We would just stick to, our culture and Wu-Sabat, because they can't contend, or they don't even know what Nuapu Wu-Sabat is, much less to be able to contend it. All right, so let me move on, because we've got a few questions in the chat I haven't got to.